And I said, who is he? He said, Elvis Presley. I said, Elvis Presley? I heard his record on a jukebox in Dallas. He's a hillbilly, Bill. You think he's gonna...
Did you know Pat Boone kept a secret about Elvis Presley for decades? This video will unveil the shocking truth at 91, guaranteeing insights that will blow your mind by the end. If you're a rock and roll fan tired of myths, puzzled by their so-called rivalry, and craving the real story, this video over-delivers with Boone's candid reflections on Elvis's genius, struggles, and private bond. Watch to the end, or you'll miss out on the key to understanding their genuine relationship. But what's the one surprising confession Boone held back until now? Pat Boone was born Charles Eugene Boone on June 1, 1934 in Jacksonville, Florida. He is known as one of America's long-lasting entertainers. Boone represents clean-cut charm, strong faith, and artistic flexibility. He grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, where Southern values and Christian teachings influenced him. These shaped both his personal life and public image. Boone attended David Lipscomb College, now Lipscomb University, and North Texas State University before graduating from Columbia University with a degree in speech and English. This education helped him develop his polished stage presence and clear communication. Boone gained national fame in the 1950s, a key decade for the rise of rock and roll. He quickly became a clean-cut alternative to rebellious stars like Elvis Presley. Known for his smooth voice and wholesome image, Boone started his career by recording cover versions of rhythm and blues songs originally performed by black artists. Some praised him for introducing R&B to white audiences, while others criticized him for cultural appropriation. Despite this, his covers, such as Ain't That a Shame, originally by Fats Domino, Oh Tutti Frutti by Little Richard, and I Almost Lost My Mind by Ivory Joe Hunter, were commercially successful and helped expose broader audiences to new musical genres. By the late 1950s, Boone was one of the biggest stars in American music. He had over 38 top 40 hits and sold over 45 million records, including 6 #1 singles. His smooth ballads and romantic style appealed to millions, and his clean image made him a favorite among parents wary of rock and roll. Boone's popularity was impressive. He ranked second only to Elvis Presley in chart success during that time, and even had a similar fan following. Boone's success also included television. He hosted his variety show, the Pat Boone Chevy Showroom, from 1957 to 1960. This weekly show featured well-known and new musical talent, further solidifying Boone's status as a household name. In addition to music and television, Pat Boone acted in over a dozen movies, including April Love, 1957, Bernardine, 1957, Journey to the Center of the Earth, 1959, and State Fair, 1962. His film roles often reflected his respectable, romantic, and morally upright public image, which kept him popular during changing cultural times. Hollywood viewed Boone as the ideal leading man for feel-good films for young people. He also avoided roles that went against his values. While this sometimes limited his options, it strengthened his image as a wholesome icon. Pat Boone is influential in entertainment and beyond. As a devoted Christian, he uses his fame to promote faith-based values. He often appears at evangelical events and writes books about Christian living, family, and personal morality. His best-selling book, Twixt 12 and 20, guides teenagers and has sold millions of copies, appealing to teens and their parents. Boone also supports various charities and political causes that align with his conservative and religious beliefs. He speaks openly about his views, even when they differ from popular opinions, using his celebrity to impact discussions on moral and cultural issues. In the 1990s, Boone surprised many by releasing In a Metal Mood, No More Mr. Nice Guy, an album featuring heavy metal covers in his classic style. Dressed in black leather, he performed at the American Music Awards, attracting significant media attention. The album, intended as a fun tribute to rock and metal, showcased Boone's talent for reinvention and his willingness to take risks. Despite the mixed reactions, the album became a cult hit and gained him a new, younger fan base. Throughout his long career, Boone has achieved fantastic success, selling over 50 million records, recording over 2,300 songs, and earning multiple gold albums. He is recognized as one of American pop music's most influential crossover artists. His legacy is built on integrity and faith. Unlike many stars, Boone has stayed true to his values and avoided scandals. He remained married to his high school sweetheart, Shirley Foley, for 65 years until her passing in 2019. Together, they raised 4 daughters, including Debbie Boone, who found her success with the song "You Light Up My Life." Pat Boone's life and career reflect a time when artists were valued for their talent and morals. He is remembered for what he represents more than for any particular performance or song. Still, he played a key role in popularizing early rock and roll and has succeeded in different entertainment areas. In the 2010s, Pat Boone continues to perform and advocate for causes he believes in. Now in his 90s, he remains lively and engaging, sharing his thoughts on music, life, and faith. His ability to stay relevant over time shows his talent and determination. Pat Boone's revelations about Elvis Presley. At 91, Pat Boone, the famous American singer, actor, and author, reflects on his complicated relationship with Elvis Presley. For decades, people have speculated about how Boone and Presley interacted. Both were significant figures in the 1950s and helped shape rock and roll. They were young, charismatic performers in the spotlight of America's cultural change, but they had very different styles, images, and beliefs. In recent years, Boone has felt the need to clarify their relationship. He now shares personal stories and feelings about Presley that he kept private before out of respect for Elvis, and because of the intense public scrutiny they faced. Boone explains that the media exaggerated rivalry stories, creating a sensational competition narrative. He has always admired Elvis for his talent, dedication to music, and stage presence. Boone remembers meeting Presley at recording studios and on television. He describes Elvis as shy off stage, but deeply committed to his craft. Boone recognized early on that Elvis was not just a fad, but a transformative figure in American culture. Boone acknowledges that their careers took different paths. While Boone focused on clean, wholesome performances due to his Christian beliefs, Elvis took on a bold, rebellious image, symbolizing youth defiance and sexual freedom. Boone reflects that while he was often seen as the safe option compared to Presley, he never envied Elvis's popularity. He felt that Elvis's success opened doors for him and other artists by broadening what popular music could be. Boone also shares his sadness about Elvis's struggles. He was heartbroken as he watched Elvis face addiction and isolation, especially knowing the pressure that came with fame. Boone often wished he could have helped Elvis and thinks that more honest conversations, genuine friendships, or spiritual support might have made a difference. As someone who values faith, Boone believes Elvis was seeking a deeper connection to God and peace, but was surrounded by people who prioritized his fame over his well-being. Though Boone initially underestimated Elvis's long-term impact, he grew to respect his musical depth and emotional power. Boone says, "Elvis had something raw, something you couldn't teach. He tapped into something primal that spoke directly to people's hearts and souls. He wasn't just a performer, he was a phenomenon." In his reflections, Boone recalls genuine moments of friendship, discussing faith, fame, and the struggles of sudden stardom, performing together on early television shows, and having late-night phone calls where they shared their fears and dreams. Boone recognizes their different paths in career and spirituality. As a committed Christian, he stayed true to traditional values and used his platform for moral themes, while Elvis wrestled visibly with personal demons and fame. Boone avoids judgment and instead shows empathy, understanding the heavy toll that stardom took on Elvis, calling him a sensitive soul, crushed by the weight of being larger than life. Pat Boone reflects on his friendship with Elvis Presley with feelings of admiration, sorrow, and gratitude. He sees Elvis not just as a famous star, but as a person who is brilliant, troubled, generous, and misunderstood. Boone admits, "It took me a long time to see past the glitter and noise, but when I did, I recognized someone who wanted peace, love, and a place to rest. I wish we had talked more. In the end, I wish I could have helped him." As Boone remembers their friendship, he focuses on the simple acts of kindness and understanding they shared. In recent interviews, he said, "Elvis was a good man. He had a beautiful heart. He struggled like we all do. His struggles happened in front of the world. I wish more people had seen the real Elvis, not just the performer, but the person." For Pat Boone, sharing the truth about Elvis now is about honoring a fellow artist. Despite his challenges and public pressures, Elvis changed the world with his music. This also helps Boone honor his legacy as a performer who competed with Elvis and as a man of compassion, faith, and honesty. Pat Boone's remarkable music career. Pat Boone has had an impressive music career that spans many decades. He is one of the most productive artists in popular music history. He has recorded over 20,600 tracks, which shows his strong work ethic and dedication. Very few artists have created such an extensive catalog of songs. Boone's music styles include pop, country, gospel, and standards. This variety has helped him leave a lasting mark on the music industry. His many recordings suggest he spent countless hours in studios, worked with talented producers and musicians, and always aimed to connect with a broad audience. Throughout his career, Pat Boone achieved notable commercial success. He had 38 singles that made it into the US Top 40 charts, especially during the 1950s and 1960s when he was very popular. Among these hits, he reached the #1 position 6 times, showing his broad appeal and the impact of his music. His success on the charts reflects both his musical talent and the effective management of his career. One of Boone's most significant records is his long run on the US charts. Until the 2000s, he held the record for the most consecutive weeks with at least one single in the US Top 100, 220 weeks total. This achievement shows his lasting popularity, which few artists match. To stay on the charts for more than 4 years, he produced hit after hit and connected with audiences through changing musical trends. This record highlights Boone's consistency and cements his legacy as a beloved figure in American pop music.